Hiya, welcome to my channel. This is my first ever YouTube post and I'm delighted to finally be able to share some interesting tips on what to do in 2025 to release your music. Now, first of all, who am I? Well, I've been a creator, artist for over 30 years. I have worked in technology, in production. I had my own studio and I've been a musician for a very long time. And I'm here to really share with you why in 2025 there has never been a better time to launch your musical career online. Now, first of all, why am I saying that? Well, because I've been watching and helping musicians and launching different things online for a very long time. And quite frankly, it's never been easier to, one, create music, two, distribute your music to an audience, and three, promote your music online. Now, there's so many things that people are concerned about around launching their music because, of a number of, threats that they see. The internet can be a scary place. Putting yourself out there can be quite daunting. And I'm here to let you know that all those things, yes, they are true, but there's so many ways that you can overcome them, and it's never been really a better time to learn how to, number one, promote your music, create music, and distribute your music online. So let me just, share some of my thoughts around this, and let's dispel some of the key challenges that I hear quite a lot from independent music creators. So number one, AI. We're seeing for the first time proper AI artists starting to really launch on platforms like Spotify and get significant streams. Now, obviously, as a independent creator, you might be thinking, well, you know what? There's not going to be enough for me. They're taking over all of the streaming revenue that otherwise I could get, so there's no opportunity, so why do it? Well, first of all, let me tell you, independent creators often really don't get a large piece of the pie when it comes to their streaming. Yes, there are some exceptions, but a lot of what we're seeing between, say, AI releases and traditional music labels is really the battleground that's happening right now on Spotify. So you've got Spotify trying to make as much money as possible. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they were behind some of the AI releases for these new artists that are coming out. And the traditional way that people made money is through the big labels like Universal and others, right? So really what we're seeing is this big battle happen between tech and the music labels for really the streaming revenue. Now, when it comes to independent creators, like if you thought about it, the amount of streams or the amount of streaming revenue that you are likely to get from platforms like Spotify, it's pretty diabolical, it's pretty low. So I really only think of Spotify as a way to promote your music. And rather than, think, oh, I'm going to get less in streaming, think about other ways that you can actually make money as an artist. And I'll go through some of those because streaming isn't the be all and end all. In fact, it's probably just a way to get a few listens and get your music out there. There are much more lucrative ways to make money online. And I'm going to share a little bit about that in a second. So the second thing that people often say that they're worried about is, well, will my music be good enough? Will people connect with it? Well, there's only one way to find out. Literally, you can put out your music on YouTube or somewhere else and just see, can you get an audience to actually connect with your music? Now, I'm not going to say don't put in the hard work. I've been practicing, instruments and vocals and production for a really long time. And the product is really, really, part of the whole thing. You want to make sure that your product is, well recorded, it's in time, it's in tune, all the rest of it. And hopefully then you've got a decent enough product that you're ready to share with the world. And you know what? You'll find out pretty quickly, whether people connect with it or not. So, you can certainly share it on social media and then see what kind of response you get. Now, one piece of advice I'd say is you want to connect with your audience, not necessarily all of your friends and your family and other colleagues at work and things like that. That's not the intent, right? If you want an algorithm, whether it's on social media, on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube or on Spotify, well, first of all, you want to make sure that you're letting the algorithm do its thing and find its audience. And if you release on, say, YouTube, and you send that link to all your friends and say, hey, check out what I just released, well, the YouTube algorithm is only going to try and learn from the people that you sent the link to, as opposed to learning from the wider web. It may take longer, but on the other hand, that the algorithms, whether it's social media or YouTube, they're going to end up finding the right people based on your style of music. So the more information you can put in there, the better, because that way it's going to get to the right audience, and then they're going to have a chance to listen to it. And YouTube, for example, will send it to a test audience, and if those people really connect with it and like it and the quality is good and they really enjoy it, well, guess what? Then the YouTube algorithm is going to learn how to promote your music for you. And it's the same with Spotify, it's the same with Instagram, it's the same with all of those different platforms. So my advice is, when you release the music, yeah, you can do some promotion, but don't promote to your friends and families and others, because you want to go and find your actual audience, right? So that's the other thing. Number 3 is probably more around a lot of the concern I get with people talking about distribution channels like TuneCore and CD Baby, like Universal just bought CD Baby. And there's a lot of fear right now about, well, they're stealing our streams, and they're saying that I did fake streams when I did, and all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of talk about these things online. And I really want to say it comes back to that streaming thing, right? At the end of the day, they're another corporate entity between Spotify and the artist, and they're trying to get a piece of the action as well. So clearly they're going to try and cheat and steal or do whatever it is that they do in order to take as much revenue from you as possible. So, and all of those channels are very saturated. What I mean by that is that these corporations are very practiced around making money. And so, again, they're probably not the best option for you in terms of actually making anything significant from your music. So now let's talk about how, you can make money with your music. And first of all, before we go into that, let's try and understand, what is your goal? Are you making music because you want to make money from it and you want to make an income? Well, I can probably tell you right now that's very unlikely to happen. And I know it's not what we want to hear, but it's really, when I ran my production company, I had my video division and I had my recording studio, and I can definitely tell you there's way more money in video than there is in making music. And look, that's just the sad way of the world. There's only a very small percentage of musicians that actually crack the big time, and often they have to make huge compromises in terms of their music. They have to bring in like 7 or 8 songwriters to help them write the song. The A&R executives, the artist and repertoire executives that come in really tell them what to play. They'll get specific producers in, and look, it's a completely different thing than, say, yourself trying to actually publish your music. Now, if your goal is to find an audience, that's a different goal than making money, all right? Now, we should all be paid for what we do. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be making money or trying to make money, but I can definitely guarantee that you should think about it, number one, because I love making the music, right? There's really, if you're pushing out music and you're prioritizing the promotion and getting it out there and selling it online, all the rest of it, and all the content and posting that you have to do, well, that's still the most important bit is the actual product, right? The music. So number one, focus on, do you enjoy making the music? Because if you don't, then obviously that's going to be, you're not doing the right thing anyway. So number one, make sure that you enjoy the process of creating music, because at the end of the day, that's why as musicians we're here. We're really here to make music and enjoy the process and all the rest of it. And then number two, I can speak from experience. Yes, we want to create music, but we also want to share that music, and we want people to understand our point of view. You want people to connect with your music, and then it fulfills us, because it's not like we're just making music in a vacuum. We're putting the music out there and people are connecting with and getting it and really enjoying it, and that's just really fulfilling as well. So in terms of your goals, number one should be the making of the music. Number two, it's finding an audience for music. And then really third, it's like making money. We'd all love to quit our jobs and focus on making money. But really, if you haven't done one and two, well, then three is a byproduct of those other two things. So you shouldn't prioritize that over everything. Because if your goal is to, follow your passion, follow your dream and make music, well, make that the goal. Don't make it about making money. But look, there are ways to actually make money from your music. So let's talk about that. But I just wanted to really call out that, hey, if you're in it for the money, yes, but number one should be the passion, right? And then from there, money will come. Now, let's talk about how you can produce your music and then how you can make money out of it. So first of all, it's never been easier to actually produce really high quality music. Like you can buy an interface for less than $100 and you can plug a microphone into it and buy a microphone for $50 and it's going to sound pretty decent. So like if you are sitting there with your guitar and you want to like release your songs or whatever, it's never been easier to actually produce mix and master your music with a DAW or digital audio workstation. There are so many plugins now, there's so many things, there's so many tutorials online that will teach you how to mix and master your music and get a really high quality production out of it. So that's something that you should really not worry about because it's there and you can just learn about it and again, enjoy the process. Bring production into the music creation process so that, it's not like I'm just recording it and then I'm just going and mixing and mastering it. Yes, you have to do that, but you can definitely start with, like making it, but also understanding, what the effect does to the guitar, how this plugin works, how you can add drums or other production elements, because it's going to enrich your whole experience around the creation of music. So that's how I look at production. I look at it, how can it be used as a music making tool to create better mixes and better tunes, right? So finally, making money. Now, we talked about streams. My personal view is the amount of money that people make from streaming is literally hardly anything, right? It's negligible at best. You put in all this work creating the music, mixing it, mastering it, getting it out, finally understanding how to publish it on, say, CD Baby or TuneCore, and you get it off there, and then okay, you've finally got it there. And even if you do get an audience, say you get 10,000 people like picking it up straight away, and they're really into it, and you get 10,000 streams, you're going to make really negligible money on those 10,000 streams. So one of the things that I'm seeing independent creators do more and more is release it last on Spotify, but release it in other ways. Like for example, you can set up your own website now on like Wix for $10 and straight away have a place where you can, behind a firewall, sell subscriptions to your music. You can sell digital downloads. You can send some of the behind the scenes. There's so much now that you can put online behind a firewall and charge for, right? Worst case as well, you can put it on Bandcamp and other things. Now, the problem with that is you've got to bring your own audience to those platforms. And guess what? It's someone else's platform, right? And, I would prefer, if I was going to, promote my music today, I would put it behind a firewall on my own website, knowing full well that as I promote it on social media, rather than direct them to Spotify or direct them to some other distribution channel, I want it to go to my distribution channel. So while they're there, they buy my things. They buy maybe some merch. Maybe they get into the whole experience. You could publish some of your videos on there that are only for your audience or for current subscribers. But the main thing is that you've then got a captive person on your website, viewing your art, viewing your things, and it's a really great way to then leverage that channel to sell and make more of a profit than giving away all of your money to Spotify and giving away a lot of money to TuneCore and so on and so forth. So if you're investing time and energy creating content, pushing it out online, well, why would you then be doing all of Spotify's job for them by releasing music there and then pushing people to their platform, right? Why not push them to your platform? And you could even collaborate with other people and cross promote. There's so many things that you can do online to make money. So, that's really something that I would be looking at if, I was pushing out this stuff in 2025, because no longer does it make sense to really try and survive on what little money streaming gives you, when there's so many other options to release your music, right? So anyway, that's my first video. I hope you liked it. There will be more videos to come, and I'll be launching them on this channel. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. You got a little bit out of it. And my name's Al Marshall signing off. See you later.